with it. But despite those things, you know, we weren't going to let them put us off. No, we weren't going to put them off. Now, difficulty. So we're there, we're running a business. We had one store, West Green Road in North London, and that acted as a shop front. A room at the back of the shop was the warehouse, a packing area, and rooms at the top for storing as well. That's where the company started. And then a second store started in Ridley Road. And buying or getting hold of that store was a difficulty. When I say difficulty, I really mean a difficulty. That we couldn't go and face the people who own it ourselves. So we had to get somebody to front for us to get the store. We eventually got it. Now, can you imagine? Now, and here, having got it, then of course, almost every week, over the weekends, we had gone home on Sunday, you'd come back and perhaps you'd find the shutters, either graffiti,
Is that so?
Or they are in the market, there were blinds, and the blinds would be pulled down and broken.
They were doing everything to drive you out physically.
Yes, but you know, the material that we were made of.
Much sterner stuff.
It was very stern stuff. You know, they couldn't wear us out, get rid of us. And of course, I may have mentioned, I'm not quite sure, but I think I did, just how determined that we were to take on the big brothers, and I'm now talking about British Rail. I may have mentioned that before.
Yes.
But that was a
big,
major thing, yes.
Big struggle.
That was a big struggle.
Yes. Well, in terms of business development, was the business just taking on, moving from success to success, or were there marketing challenges that you had to face and use creativity to surmount?
Well, I got to say, looking back, that we were visionary, and of course it was the vision, because what happened was that we spotted the gap in the market.
Yes.
There were thousands and thousands of us there, and nobody
was catering
for that. And then once you got in and you were doing with that, then of course you are now the big fish, and everybody's swimming after you.
Yes.
So you've got to watch your back. And well, if I tell you that when we moved to a warehouse, 16,500, that we found some devices that were stuck around the building to try and listen in on what we were talking about.
Is that so?
Oh, of course.
People went that far?
They went that far of what we were talking about. So it's a question of difficulty following difficulty.
But what was your spirit like, which would have enabled you to deal with whatever difficulties, whatever challenges came your way?
Well, that was part and parcel of business. And, you know, you find these things out as you go ahead. And, of course, you come up with a solution. I can't tell you what the solution was for some of the things, but in the main is that we would find an answer. Now, no, the question of no does not, well, that doesn't come into our book at all. We don't entertain no. There is an answer.
You're going around the problem, over it, under it, but you were going to deal with the problems.
Yes, in whatever fashion it comes.
In your view, Tony, what are some of the most important characteristics of the excellent entrepreneur?
Well, first of all, an entrepreneur, in my way of thinking, is the person who is action-orientated. You see, some people, they talk about business and they want to do something, and they'll talk and talk and talk about it. So they're talkers. Well, the true entrepreneur is a man who would say, well, this is my idea, I've looked at it, and you action it. And once you could do that, then you're on your way.
So action.
Yes, you have.
What are some of the other things? Yes, action is good, but to be able to sustain that action, Tony, some things have to be in place.
I'll come back to the point that once you're action-orientated, you would find the solution for whatever that difficulty is. So I spoke earlier on about, okay, the banks were not really lending us their money, but we found ways of getting around that, in that, well, there are friends and families over there, point out what we were doing. They wanted to see us succeed, and they were there to help. And we were not abusing their their
generosity.
Their generosity. And of course, we reward them for it. So you reward. Then the other thing I found that integrity. People could count on you. They can trust you.
Yes.
And the examples that you set.
Yes, I ethical standard. A key issue, Tony, especially among our people, is the matter of partnerships. Partnerships are usually fragile. You worked with Dyke and Dryden.
Yes.
What sort of approach you yourself took?
That's a very good question, and I'll tell you.
Let's take a little break while you mull over that question. Tony Wade sharing his reflections with us. He wrote a book, How They Made a Million. Well, he's talking to us about the successes that he made. He doesn't want me to put any, I don't think, any dollar figure to what he has accomplished. But he's telling us about the triumphs and the challenges. We take our final break on Profile. Thanks for staying with us on Profile. My guest, Tony Wade, is the author of Encounters of an Economic Migrant. That's the latest of his 3 books.
That's correct, yes.
3 books, but I'm sure more in the making. I asked an important question about partnerships. You know, sticking together, working through difficulties. A lot of us find that difficult. Reflect on your experience.
Well, yes, and of course I would say without any hesitation that failure to engage in partnerships is one of the things really that is holding us back through not being as strong a force as we should be.
Yes.
Now, my own company, our own company, now Len Dyke and Dudley Dryden, who founded the company, the story was that Len invited, I think it was 6 of his friends to be part of his idea. They all said yes, they'll be part of the idea. Yes. He did all the things that he had to do, everything was ready. But the day the call for the money on the table, none of them were available.
Yes, you had mentioned
and
that.
What actually happened was Dudley, he wasn't part of the team, but he heard, and then of course when he came to Len's aid,
yes.
He rang him up and told him, well, look, the guys didn't turn up, but I will come in, and he jumped in. So, with that sort of attitude, the company would not have founded, would not have been there today. So,
but even when you do come together, Tony, even when you do manage to have people come together and find the synergies, to be able to keep things on course, that is a major challenge. Well, what approach is it you take?
Well, it is it's a major challenge, and I think I did say earlier on that the 3 of us said the success of the business comes first.
First, you put everything else behind.
Yes, and of course we were.
You're single focus.
Yes, yes, we were 3 men from different backgrounds altogether, but we were focused in that what we are going to do, we are going to succeed.
Very good.
And that is the main thing. There's no point to go and squabble. You've got to be honest to begin with.